So, my monkey brain has found a new obsession for the week, VTubing. In my last video about it, I compared 4 different VTubing software and I found that using both XR Animator and VNeon worked best for me. So now that I've got my VTubing software for motion capture, the next logical step was to make a custom avatar. How do you make an avatar? I don't know, I'm learning on the spot here. While I was looking for VTuber software previously, I also did a little bit of research on how VTuber avatars are made because I just can't focus on a single thing, I guess. And it seems that I need to use Unity to convert models into VRM files, which is the format that avatars use. The thought of using Unity makes me want to explode because in my mind, Unity equals C#, which is about as complicated as quantum physics. I already have a hard time learning Python. I avoid anything C related like it's the plague. I want to learn as much as possible while learning as little as possible. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't. I can't put my thoughts into words. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. God damn it, if only there were a way to export VRM files in Blender. Wait. Hell yeah, here we go! Okay, so I found this Blender add-on that allows for VRM import and export, which is freaking amazing. Anyway, I can't hold back my excitement any longer, so let me just spend 2 hours making a character real quick and bam, it's done! I won't bore you too much with how I made it, but I feel like there's a lack of tutorials on this, so I'll just talk about it a little. When you press N, you can see that there's a new VRM panel that you can open. In here, you can quickly get started by clicking on the Create VRM Model button, and it'll add a basic skeleton. Once you parent everything you need onto the rig, you can just add your shape keys for the face in the Blend Shapes dropdown, then just go to Edit, Export, and choose VRM. And there you go, now you have your own VRM model and probably arthritis from all that clicking. I sure know I do. I imported it into XR Animator and fingers crossed. Holy crap, it actually works! Do you see this? I made this! Oh my god, I can make my own avatars in Blender! Oh god, I can see all the possibilities! Ugh, my head. What the? Ugh, it's so ugly! No, this won't do. Where have all my good looks gone? I need a new avatar. Enough of this walking green screen. But who shall I turn into a 3-dimensional puppet for me to control? Let's see. I drew that? Too complicated. Nah. Oh, this guy again. I've actually made this guy in Blender before. He looks dapper. I'm taking him. You're coming with me, pal! He could use some refurbishing. He's too low poly. Remaking this guy was actually a pretty enjoyable experience. Not just because I'm finally doing something other than the worker drone base model. I've been working on that for so long, I need a break. But because I enjoy the modeling process more than rigging. So while you guys watch me model this guy's body, let me just tell you about this character. I don't really remember why I made this character. I think I just wanted to see if I could. I took inspiration from characters like Vox from Has-Been Hotel and the TV head guys from Skibidi Toilet. Yes, I like Skibidi Toilet, call me brain rotten or whatever, don't judge it if you haven't watched it. Go check it out, it's actually pretty good. My sides are cramping! Because I think robots with old vintage TV boxes... Oh my god! Because I think robots with old boxy TVs for heads look really cool. So I made a little concept drawing in Krita, please ignore my horrible art skills, and I came up with a robot guy wearing a red blazer and a hat. When I first modeled this character, I didn't actually use Blender. Back then, I was still pretty intimidated by Blender, and I wanted to stay with something that I was more comfortable with, which was another modeling software called Blockbench. If you've ever made Minecraft resource packs before, you probably know what Blockbench is. Blockbench was an okay modeling software, but it didn't have any fancy modifiers like Blender and it only did low poly modeling. I spent a really long time in Blockbench struggling to model this character, and I think I probably would have gotten it done much faster if I had just learned how to use Blender. But I was pretty stubborn. For God knows why though, I actually rigged this character in Blender, which confuses me because I was apparently far too intimidated by Blender's sophisticated modeling tools. But I could build a whole damn armature and use shape keys. I honestly don't know. My throat's dying already. At the time, this was my second time trying to build an armature on my own, and I barely knew what I was doing. I was an absolute noob and didn't know that you can mirror the armature, so I had to build the entire thing by hand, which took hours of work. Oh my god! I then used shape keys to make the eyes and mouth. I also played around with the materials and got the eyes to glow. So looking at the model again, now that I'm much more skilled at Blender, what do I think? It's not good, but for my first fully rigged character, I think I did alright. Before I got the idea to turn this guy into a VTubing avatar, I had the idea to make an entire animated series with it as the main character. I now realize that I am garbage at animating and that I was being far too ambitious again. I kind of have a problem where I keep coming up with these massive super ambitious ideas and I never end up finishing them. And I still have this problem. Like literally a month ago, I had an idea to make an entire Murder Drones fan series. But I once again realized that I was making something that I could never finish. When I have an idea that I really like, I spend every waking hour working on it and feel determined to finish it. But the moment I realize how big the project is, I basically lose all interest and it goes into the digital graveyard of unfinished projects. Anyway, I dug up some old notes and here's what I wrote a while ago. This story was basically just humans being humans manage to destroy themselves by attempting to generate infinite electricity with a machine that breaks all laws of physics and they tear a rift in reality. Eldritch monsters invade, etc, etc. What a lovely time to be alive. Okay, that's pretty much it. This character has been through quite a lot. The original model doesn't have a lot of detail, so in this new one, I'm going to try and add a bunch of panels around the body. Though this would all just get covered up with clothes. I'll make it anyway though. I found an easy way to make panels online and I think it looks really great. You can do this too by selecting edges on your mesh, marking them as sharp, adding the edge split modifier, unchecking the angle option, then adding the solidify modifier. Also a subdivision too, maybe. You can adjust the solidify modifier to change how thick the panels are. I didn't want the inside of the legs to just be tubes, so I took some inspiration from the Mimic from FNAF. I honestly have no idea how robots work or what parts they have inside of them, so I'm just adding random stuff until it looks right to me. I just added some panels, tubes, oh no, dude, I just added some panels, tubes, and discs everywhere. The lower legs were done, so I started working on the thighs. I struggled for a bit while making this due to how things were sized, and I tried a few different shapes. Once again, I have no idea what goes inside a robot, so I was just making it up as I went. I later tried using a long beveled cube and I thought it looked pretty alright. I didn't use it in the end though because it looked too different from the lower leg, I think. No matter what I did, I couldn't get the shape right. If it were a cube, it would look out of place, but didn't realize. If the tube doesn't fit, why not add a larger surface? I scaled down the cube I already had and placed it at the top and bottom. I moved the tube into place, and everything was perfect. I'm really happy with how this looks. I'll just add some more tubey things and then move on to the next part. You guys actually may or may not recognize this hip. This hip is from my first attempt at remaking this guy months ago, which I never finished. And you can actually see this from my very first video. For the upper body, I wanted it to have metal ribs like a Nightmarion from FNAF because I think it looks cool. At the time, I didn't know about the skin modifier, so I made a rib by increasing the bevel on a Bezier circle, converting it into a mesh, and then deleting half of it. With the skin modifier, I can just use vertices and edges, and the modifier will turn them into a tube. Now it was time for the last and probably most important parts of the model, the TV head. I copied over the old head to use as a reference and I started recreating it. I had to look at some more reference images of old vintage TVs because I wasn't totally sure if it looked right, and I noticed that the back is usually quite blocky. And hey, would you look at that, it's the end of the video. Wow, this thing sure did take a while to make. I'm really happy of how this turned out, and in the next video I'm going to be making the clothes, which I already know will be an absolute headache because I suck at making clothes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. If you guys enjoy what I do, consider supporting me on Ko-fi, where I sometimes show behind the scenes images or sneak peeks. Ko-fi subscribers will gain early access to new videos, posts about what I'm currently working on, and more. I hope you have a wonderful day, and see you in the next one. Throat's dead. Rest in peace.